Hey everyone, welcome to Chess4Unity's third Saturday event. If you're new here, my name is Vincent Say and I will be the host for today's stream. And yeah, just to introduce myself a little bit, I'm a FIDE master and I will be, as always, trying to win first place in Chess4Unity's third Saturday event. So if you're new to sort of the third Saturday event idea, this event is held every monthly, each third Saturday. And there are three sections. There's the under 600 section, there's the under 1200 section, and the open section, which we are playing right now. So if you want to know more information about Chess4Unity and our events, be sure to visit chess4unity.com. So that's chess 4 as in the number 4, unity.com. And this event is free for all to attend, and winner actually gets some nice prizes. So be sure to check it out. Okay, so first game we're playing against Elwin 200. And so good luck, Elwin. And let's see what happens. So I started out with d4. He goes d5, I go c4, he goes c6. So we have the Slav defense. Let's see. I'm going to knight f3, typical move. Also, another thing I wanted to mention to all those seniors out there, good luck on your college applications. I know it's a stressful process, but no matter what happens, keep your head held high. Yeah. Okay, so knight f6 was played by black, and now let us go exchange Slav. Exchange Slav is a very solid option and usually promises roughly an equal middle game, but white always has this one extra tempo which can be useful, especially in certain lines. So it's sort of a good option, this c takes d5, e takes d5 exchange Slav for white, if you want to have a solid game, get out of theory pretty quickly. I think in general most of these lines will escape theory very quickly relative to some of the other Slav defense variations. And yeah, just play chess, right? Okay, so here I go with the bishop f4 variation, which is quite popular as well. There are many other. Okay, bishop f5. Let's see, let me try to remember. Okay, let's go e3. Not a very surprising move, just continue development. Now there's a good chance black plays e6, right, sort of mirroring my position. And then I can make a decision, right? I can go knight e5 in that case, which I'm considering right now. Also, there are some variations. Bishop e2 is a possibility, but not very convincing in my eyes. Just a very equal position after bishop e2. Not even... no excitement at all, which is a bummer. Let's go knight e5, right? Black has a couple of good options. I think black can play knight takes e5 followed by a6, right? You don't want to allow something like bishop b5 for white because that could be annoying. So just knight takes e5 followed by a6 I think is the most solid approach. Though, now that I'm looking at it, that does have a drawback. If I go knight takes e5, okay, let's say he goes knight takes e5, I go bishop takes e5, he goes a6. Now, I didn't realize this, but I can play bishop takes f6. And black can't take back with the queen because queen a4. Will probably win, honestly. Or at least we get a huge advantage in that case. So black has to take back with the pawn, which I guess is not too bad, but, still a concession either way. Okay, that was probably very confusing. It's difficult to sort of demonstrate that line when when I can't move the pieces. But hold up. One sec. I need to get my keyboard. Okay, apparently I did not have my keyboard. That's why I was like, wait, something is definitely weird in this situation. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So what I was talking about was if black played a6. Honestly, no. If black played knight takes e5. Can I move the pieces? No, I can't. Fortunately, I can't. But yeah. So, anyways, knight takes e5, bishop takes e5. Black plays a6. I have the option of playing bishop takes f6, forcing g takes f6, because if bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, then I go queen a4. And black can't play b5 because bishop takes b5 check and the rook on a8 is hanging. Yeah, so that's pretty much the idea. So black decides to go queen b6, which is definitely interesting. For sure, not a bad option at all. Let's go bishop b5. Taking advantage of the fact that black hasn't played a6 yet, which is usually an essential move when playing the Slav. Because bishop b5 is honestly, for the most part, annoying for black. But, this position's obviously still very complex. A lot of nuances. So it's far from decided. Put it that way. Okay, I have an interesting idea. What if we go bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and queen b3? How would that work? Or would that work? Is the better question. Of course, we have other options like playing queen a4 because a takes b5 is not possible because the rook on a8 is hanging. That's a fairly convincing option. Hmm. The problem with bishop takes c6, b takes c6, queen b3 is black has bishop b4, and I don't really know what to do after that. I think that's absolutely unnecessary. Okay, let's go. Let's take this. Let's go castle. I'm not worried about queen takes b2. I feel like after queen takes b2, I can go anything pretty much. Queen a4, honestly, is a very interesting option. That if black sees, he's not going to play queen takes b2. Because queen takes b2, queen a4, queen takes c6, white has rook c1. And the queen takes c6 next, winning. So I think the prudent approach for black here is to go something like bishop e7. Though after that, I can try to get the initiative with queen a4, followed by something like rook c1, but again, that's not very dangerous. Or actually, something like knight a4 probably makes more sense. Now, let's go rook c1 first. Right, because castle is not possible because of knight a4. So black has to do something. And there's a good chance that something is rook c8. And then we have options again. Though, I'm kind of looking at it now. And queen b3 looked like a very interesting option. What do you guys think? Queen b3, because if queen takes b3, a takes b3. Now rook c8 is not possible because the a6 pawn is hanging. It's very difficult for black to defend the c6 pawn. You can try c5, but then yeah, I guess you can try c5. That's true. Yeah, I don't think I have that much after that. Where do we go now? Okay, I got an idea. To try to gain some sort of initiative. What if I go knight a4? He goes queen b5. Queen b7, now queen b3 makes a lot of sense. Probably wins material. Queen b5, I was thinking of also going queen b3. So queen b5, queen b3. Let's say we go castle, queen takes b5. Now if a takes b5, knight b6 should win material. If c takes b5, knight b6, rook takes c1, rook takes c1, gives me the c file and probably an advantage as well. So the key thing is to make sure that I'm not missing something there, because I know the evaluations are probably sound, at least in the lines that I mentioned. But I also am assuming that those lines are relatively forced, which is a dangerous assumption to make, to say the least. We'll see though. Right now, I think it works, that idea of queen b5, queen b3. I think it's really the only way for me to fight for anything though. And that's... So castle, let's calculate it again. Queen takes b5, c takes b5 is relatively forced. Is forced, not relatively forced. Knight b6. Yeah, that looks very convincing, honestly. That looks very, very convincing. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's see, because I think black sees this line and is trying to evaluate the same thing as well. We'll see what decision black makes. Okay, black castles, which is not a shocking revelation. Revelation. Is it revelation or revelation? Revelation. Oh, maybe knight b6 immediately is even stronger than the line that I mentioned. Yeah, I think knight b6 might be even stronger than the line I even mentioned. Let's go knight b6. I did not even see that before. Because knight b6 now, if black moves his rook off, wow, bless me. Okay. If black moves his rook off the c file, then knight takes c6 wins material. If black, or else you can't, if black moves his rook to c7, then queen takes b5 also wins material. So queen takes b3 was played in this case by my opponent. I take back, obviously. Now again, I don't really see a great option for black. If black plays rook d8 or rook anywhere, honestly, knight takes c6 wins material. But knight takes c6 wins material no matter what my opponent plays. Now, also, rook b8, I can play rook takes c6 here and just keep an extra pawn instead of even going for any of these variations. Yeah, because knight takes c6, rook takes b6, knight takes e7, king h8. Knight takes f5. E takes f5. It is a little bit unclear in my opinion. Obviously, white is better, but there are a lot of the b3 pawn is really not an extra pawn at all. Knight d7 also is just an option. Takes, rook takes b3, knight takes f8, bishop takes f8, rook takes c6. Honestly, is probably the best option. Yeah, let's just go knight. Yeah, there's no reason for me not to win an exchange. It would just be not prudent to do so, to not do so. Okay, now is sort of the moment where the critical parts of the game are over. So I gotta start playing much quicker, right? I don't want to be in a situation where my time is jeopardized and now the quality of my play becomes jeopardized. So I'm probably gonna blitz out the next few moves. They're not very difficult moves and also not very important ones. Right, you take, pretty much guarantee that I take. Okay, you go there. Okay, because I'm looking at a variation, so rook takes a6, bishop d3, rook a8, bishop takes f1, bishop d6. How's that? Looks winning to me. Huh, I love that. That's a really funny line. Let's do it, let's do it. Let's go rook takes a6. Let's see what my opponent does. Because I'm playing rook a8 pretty much no matter what he does next. And it seems like a very strong option to me, so let's see. Aha, love that. Thank you for playing that. Please don't tell me I missed something. No, I think I didn't. G6, rook takes f8, king g7, king takes f1. Sounds good to me. Yeah. Rook b6, just bishop, or bishop anywhere, actually. Okay, this should be fairly not difficult to convert unless I start playing moves like that. Okay, as long as I'm not down on time, we are good. Okay, apparently my opponent disconnected. Let's see if he can get back to playing. But yeah, let's just wait here and see. And in terms of how many games are left, there are only 2 games are left. And we are one of them. Okay, let's wait. Let's just wait. It's okay. Okay, my opponent's back. Hopefully I'm not getting myself into a little bind here. That is, just eat this pawn. Yep, nah. My opponent does not have enough time to take that. We will just add a defender, or that works too. Okay, we'll just keep pushing. Okay, now we just have to make sure that we do not stalemate, because that would be very embarrassing. I can't imagine anything more embarrassing than that. Yeah, we just go f3, which was a waiting move. Okay. That is a very good game. I'll win 200. Yeah, so really, to summarize this game, I think critically it's very difficult to point out. Okay, cool. Okay, see. Yeah, I think when we think back to that game, it's very difficult to point out a specific moment where my opponent really went wrong. It just seemed like maybe Queen B6 was an inaccuracy, right? Allowing Bishop B5, Bishop takes C6, followed by Rook C1, Knight A4, Queen B3, all of that. Maybe Knight takes E5, Bishop takes E5, and we talk about that line that I mentioned. Possibly, maybe Bishop D6, Queen A4, King E7. All are possible abilities. Okay, now let's switch gears and move on to the next game. Which my opponent goes for the London system. Okay, cool. Cool. What are we going to do about it? Let's see, which line do we go for? There's so many ways to sort of deal with the London system that often gets confusing. Okay, the idea of this variation is just to play e5 very quickly, which equalizes, right? The moment black plays e5, black equalizes very easily. That seems a little bit like black was very desperate to trade off minor pieces. Not exactly sure why, but it just seems like a very bad place for white's knight to be. I feel like this the good thing about this position is it gives me freedom to sort of find ways to pick on my opponent's position. Here's what I really mean by that. Okay, let's go queen e5. Queen g5. The position is by no means decisive either way, but I think it's safe to say that black has a slight advantage due to, if anything, but just the more space, right? Black has so much more space, thus more freedom to operate. So black should have a slight edge, but it's by no means decisive at all. And yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how I should proceed. And I think h5 is the right direction. Right, we can have this g3, g2, f2 sort of pawn structure makes it extremely difficult for black to break through, very solid. And h5, h4 does exactly that. So I think if I can get an h5, h4, it'd truly be a big deal. Okay, here I actually thought, okay, maybe I still have a point. I thought d4 would be very, very strong. But it's not as strong as I thought it was gonna be. Maybe. Because here I have, okay, rook e1, white has to play knight f1, and then I have knight g4, which looks very interesting. Let's go that route. Knight f1, essentially forced. Okay, I definitely made a misvaluation here. Queen f4, I overlooked that move. Incredibly strong move. Okay, this I saw, the fact that rook takes f1 wins here. Yeah, but queen f4 instead of rook takes f1 would be very, very strong. Because it prevents, first of all, it prevents me from executing this threat because the queen's on f4 and there's no fork on knight h2. But also, okay, here, obviously, Knight h2 is winning. I'm looking if queen c1 maybe is better. Queen c1, rook e1 is forced. Knight h2, king e2, queen c2. Yeah, let's do that. Oh. Okay. Yeah, so my opponent resigned before I can even make a move. Yeah, so that was a good game, just that rook e2 blunder. I think queen f4 in this position would be incredibly strong. And I don't think black has any sort of advantage at that point. And actually, I'm trying to play to make sure I'm not at a disadvantage. Maybe queen f4, queen e7 still gives me some chances. But then again, f3. Yeah, no, I think that was definitely the way to go in this position. Yeah, I mean, I have a chance with queen takes f4, g takes f4, c takes d4, rook takes d4, rook e2, but that's not hoping for an advantage, right? That's just hoping for equality. So white had definitely a missed opportunity in that sense. Okay, so since we're done so early, let us check the situation of some other games. Okay, how did this happen? Okay. So we have the typical Italian. Oh, okay. Yeah. This is all pretty normal. H6. I'm not too familiar with Italian, but that seems a little bit early to me. Yeah, this is definitely not it. No, there's no way theory allows black to even be in this situation. So something has to have happened. And unfortunately, I do not know the theory, so I don't know how black is supposed to play this position. It seems like black played natural moves, though. Maybe something like bishop b6 was necessary. Like here or something. Bishop b6. Right, because then d4 wouldn't come with that. But then even then, d4 looks very interesting from my perspective if we play bishop b6, because knight takes e4, now we have knight takes e5, and if e takes d4, c takes d4 is... Oh, maybe then knight takes e4, yeah. But anyways, let's move on. Let's see what happened. Okay, so white just keeps on pushing. Okay, yeah. This is definitely not a fun position for black, I presume. Whoa! Queen takes f2 wins for black. Wait, does it win? Wait, no. Oh, queen takes f2. Oh, black is... What is king h1? Which wins? Oh my gosh. That's a close one. But I have to believe that white saw that. Queen h1, queen takes f2, king h1 still wins for white. Right, because that's nearly fatal. Yeah. In that case, queen h7 is definitely for sure the best move. right? Even if bishop takes f2, king h1, and you can't really stop queen h8. So that's sort of that's the logic, not sort of. That's the logic behind White's idea of queen h7. So I'm expecting White to win this game as long as rook takes f2 is not played. Which, yeah, no. King h1. Right? King h1. Okay. Now what? See, the problem with Black's position is that the rook and the bishop are locked. That really just shows you the importance of developing your pieces as quickly as possible. Right? This is the epitome of that kind of scenario. This is made into, right? Rook e8, bishop c7, queen e8, or bishop c7 as well. Okay, let's move on to another game. Perhaps this game would be interesting. Tiger Daddy versus Chess Boy. Chess Boy versus Tiger Daddy. Okay, this is interesting. No question White is winning here. Not only is White up a pawn, but White also has a clear strategic advantage when it comes to knight versus bishop. Additionally, we have 3 pawn islands versus 2 for White. And although that's sort of a trivial way of evaluating positions, it is a useful tool in terms of getting this general strategic senses and prospects for both sides in this situation. So I think no question White is winning. The question is how to do that in the most effective way. And that is never easy, right? If you're up a piece, yeah, it's easy. But if you're only up a pawn, you still have to be very careful not to allow Black any chance of coming back into the game and getting counterplay. So that is what White is thinking right now. How do I best set up my pieces in order to maximize my position? I think the first step, f4, f5. Right, we want to fix all Black's pawns and gain as much space as possible. I think that is a very effective way to do that. It also gives your king a free way to do damage. Okay. My only issue is that White is spending a lot of time here. And I'm not sure that's a great thing because when you're winning, spending this much time could ultimately actually cost you. Okay, knight e3. Of course, white still keeps his advantage, but I'm interested to see white's plan. Right? White can't just be playing random moves and expecting to win. Okay, so we see the first step of white's plan, which is to go c4, which could be interesting. I'm not fully convinced. I think allowing black to go bishop d6, bishop e5, bishop d4 possibly. Maybe bishop h6 next as well. Okay, never mind. Bishop h6, not a smart move anyways. Okay, it goes f4, which is interesting. I was thinking black goes f5. But the good thing is that white does get an outpost, very strong outpost, knight on d5. So in that sense, white has made progress. Yeah. I mean, personally, I would have played f4 much sooner, but I think this also is a fairly effective way of executing the plan. Because now f5 also comes with tempo, right? Maybe that's something white also considered that I overlooked. King f2, probably. But there's no reason to rush. You want to... Yeah. That's also one of the other issues with white going c4, which is that the knight cannot go on c4 now. That's the only reason why black is able to activate his bishop. And of course, I understand that every move comes at a cost. Right? A cost and a benefit. c4 has benefits, but also has drawbacks as well. I think it's important to acknowledge both. That's what makes this game so interesting. That's what makes chess so interesting. The fact that strengths, weaknesses, progress, consequences, they all go hand in hand. Every move has some element of one of those characteristics, right? And it's up to us, the players, to decipher it. I think there's no question white should move right now. 1 minute 30 seconds. That is really cutting it down to the wire. I think another plan for white, okay, king f2, I expect black would probably play f5. In that case, maybe you can consider going knight d1 there, possibly. In that case, you might be able to provoke a6, and I don't know how helpful that might be, but white has the flexibility to just start moving around and trying to find... Oh, crap. Yeah. Okay, yeah, king f2. I would probably play that a lot faster. But he played it. Now black is going to go f5. Or not, but most likely f5. Yeah, black goes f5. King f3, also fairly strong move. Okay. Oh, okay. Black is going white is going straight in for the kill. Now, there are evident drawbacks to this. You're allowing black to trade off all his pawns, which opens up lanes for black's bishop and rook to achieve counterplay. And I think that is a little bit rushed in terms of maybe ultimately g4 is your end goal, but right now, probably not the best idea. But who knows? Maybe black has something up his sleeve. I mean, maybe white has something up his sleeve. Yeah, black definitely, rook f7 was, again, another mistake because you probably should have played fg4, but g5, now rook h7, and this is what I mean when I say the counterplay is real, right? Once you allow stuff like rook h5 right now, which threatens rook takes g5, and you can't really stop it, or even if, yeah, rook h1 is played. Okay, here at least you have rook d1, maybe you can do something about it. Or knight g2 is also an interesting move. But again, if black plays rook h5 here, what is white going to do? Nothing. I literally can't do anything. If he goes king f back to f3, rook h3, otherwise rook takes g5 is just evident. It's just obvious and a median for counterplay. Black probably is going to go a5. Or trying to get counterplay on in that front. Rook c1, also an option. Okay, rook h8 is a little bit dubious in my opinion. Doesn't make too much sense. But, okay, again, rook h5 probably is a possibility. King f2, and then rook back to h1. But then you're just gifting white a move, which doesn't make sense either. Whoa. Okay, white just... Now, this is what I mean when 20 seconds becomes a problem. Right, white played so well throughout the entire game, but just this time, pressure, it makes him overlook rook takes g5. And time can really do that to you. It might look obvious, but now again, rook h2, bishop takes f4. Yeah, now white's position just collapses. Right, and it's extremely unfortunate because... Okay, now... Bishop e5. Bishop d6 as well. Knight e3. Knight e3. It's probably a possibility, I think. It's probably better than rook f2, but... Okay, so... Wow, okay. Black comes back and wins this game. Which is very impressive. So huge credit to black for pulling that off. Right? It's not an easy task to stay patient and wait until mistakes show up. It really is not easy to do that. Especially in a position where it just seems like black has zero chances. Right? Black might hold, but the winning chances just seem non-existent. And to be patient, to play good moves, right? Because you can't win a game like that if white plays good moves. But you have to play good moves in order to have a chance, and black does that. ultimately pays off. Okay. Some other games. Okay, let's see this game. Okay, this game is Leo the Master versus Elwin 200. And I think it's fair to say this game is essentially over, right? If I were white, I'd just go knight b4, knight d3, king b4. And that is exactly what white is doing. Knight b4, h5, knight d3, king d6, king b4. Loses your entire pawn chain. Or knight d3 here, winning e5 pawn. Not a bad option as well. Black is trying to go king a5. White just goes king b3. No panic. Or that too. That's fine as well, of course. Now, knight f7 is possible. Yeah, this position is just winning. I think further commentary is unnecessary because, yeah. Okay. That is a good game. Okay, this should be an easy draw after rook g6. Yeah, I think white. Yeah. I don't think black should be trying to win here, honestly. Okay, good. Because he was going to lose on time. White is thinking about not playing rook takes e3 because he knows black is losing in terms of time. Okay, there is a 2-second increment though, so black is safe in that regard. Okay, yeah, it's a draw. Okay, that was a pretty satisfying ending, I guess. 2 kings left on the board, both sides giving their all. That was the last game for round 2. So round 3 should be starting soon, and round 3 is starting, and my opponent will be Zach HKL. So Zach, wish you good luck. Let's do this. So d4, d5, c4. That's funny. We are back to the Slav defense. This time my opponent doesn't go bishop f5, goes a6 instead. To prevent all those crazy, weird lines. Knight e5, e6, e3. Now the drawback for black in this line is the bishop is on c8, which in some sense can hurt. Okay, let's go bishop d3. Okay, we gotta go bishop g3. So we can preserve this f4 idea. Right, because if we just went castle after queen c7, we have nothing. Queen d2, keep everything solid. Black has an option of going bishop takes e5. Or that works too. Okay, here I have the option of going knight d7. Or knight takes f7. which I'm going to calculate right now to see if it works. Nope. Let's go knight d7. I think it is the safest and also the best move in the position, most likely. What this does, knight a4. Let's go knight a4. Queen d8 is forced. Oh, apparently not. I was wrong. It's not forced. Let's see. Knight b6. Double attack on the rook and the bishop. And if rook a d8, bishop c7 will win an exchange as well. Okay. What else is black thinking? What options does black have? Not much. Rook d8 is the only move I see. Okay, in that case, let us move on. Let's look at some games that are currently being played. So here we have Daniel Best 7 versus Checkmate in 3. Checkmate in 40. No, not 3. 3 is too quick. Checkmate in 40 is reasonable, I guess. Okay. This is a very interesting position. not even gonna lie, I think this is a very, very interesting position. Now, I think white is in danger. I think black is better. Now, the first question is, how do you deal with knight h4, right? Because knight h4 is coming whether like it or not. So now, that makes me think maybe queen b3 wasn't such a good idea, right? Because queen g5, black was going to play queen g5 anyways, and now you just give black a reason to play queen g5 to defend the d5 pawn. Okay, king h1, that's fair enough. Now knight h4. b6 was played, very interesting move. I like it. Knight takes a6, rook c3. I like the way black is playing right now. Black understands that the pawn on a6 is useless, right? Right now that's not the focus. Now let's see how black continues the initiative. I think knight h4 wins. Okay, maybe not wins. Here's the problem with knight h4 for white. Knight h4, if g3, black has queen f5, which wins. So if you can't play g3, you gotta play rook g1. After rook g1, let's say black goes something like queen f5. Or queen f6, probably. I just don't see how it's really... Okay. It's more concrete than what I'm saying. So black is right to spend some time here and calculate what the heck is going on. Okay. So my opponent has moved, so let's go back to my game. Okay, bishop c7, like we said. Pretty much obvious move, right? There's no really discrepancy on whether I should play this move or not. I think it's fairly obvious. Okay, let us take on b5. I'm not really scared of that. Because here, I was thinking, you know, I don't have to play bishop takes d8 immediately. Now I could, but the rook is trapped. Right, so what is there a reason for me to rush? Let's go b3. Preventing my opponent from going knight c4. In any case, still, I'm not obliged or obliged. I think it's obliged to take the rook on d8. I can still wait. Even now, I can continue waiting. Okay, let's go king d2. I can keep waiting. Let's go f3. Let's go rook c5. Okay, now let's take. With check. Okay, let's go rook b5. Right, we don't have to rush in taking on b7. Okay, now let's take. Why am I taking? I don't know. Oh yeah, let's take, and then go rook b6. That makes fair sense. In terms of the fact that king c7, I can just take on b4. So now my idea is to just, pile up. King b2. My plan right now is just to play a3. and then start pushing the b pawn. I love that. There's a lot of options that I like. Okay, let's just take. Just take on b7 and then take on b4. Just take. I don't mind gobbling up another pawn. Oh, I just realized I've been staying silent for like, a long time. Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the best way to proceed. Right, in this case, I'm up 3 pawns. Shouldn't be too hard to convert. Now I'm just gonna start pushing my queenside pawns. Rook takes h5. I just take on f4. I can even defend this pawn. And then just start pushing. Okay. My opponent offered a draw right before he resigned. That's kind of funny. But anyways. Yeah. That is another great game. Let's see. Let's go back. Kind of just digest what happened. Okay, yeah. The exchange up situation, at that point, it was already over. It's just a matter of technical conversion. But I think here is the interesting part. I think knight h5 was definitely a mistake. Allowing knight d7. I think bishop takes e5 is a possibility. D takes e5, knight d7. I think that is the best possibility. Rook d8 is also a possibility. But yeah, knight h5 for sure, allowing knight d7 was certainly an inaccuracy. Okay, let's see. Let's check other games. See what other games are going on. See if we can get some interesting ideas. Here we have Chess Boy versus Tiger Combest. Whoa. Okay, black is clearly up material, but white is clearly winning. Because f takes g6, yeah, I don't see any defense. I think black is just lost. With queen h, knight g4, yeah, no. This is game over. Okay. King e2, yeah. Okay, let's check another game, perhaps, that is more interesting. This one is more interesting. What is going on here? Rook g5, rook e2? Whoa! Queen takes g2, checkmate. So it was more interesting, but white had no time, which is why blundered queen takes g2, checkmate. Okay. So that was a nice, interesting moment where we were trying to find an interesting game, which lasted about 3 seconds. Okay, let's check another interesting game. Right now I'm just searching for interestingness, you know. That is not very interesting because it's a dead draw. Let's go bishop b4. Yeah. Ooh, okay. At least we're getting to see the conclusion of certain games, right? That's good. It's better than it's more interesting than the beginning of games, right? Okay, we have 2 more games left. One of them was Chess Boy versus Tiger Best. This one, which we have already decided is not very interesting anymore. And the other one I just clicked into just ended. So I don't know what it is about us clicking into a game and the game ending about 3 to 4 seconds later, but that seems to be a pattern. Okay. Although we decided this game was not interesting, it is the only game left, so we sort of have no choice but to follow it to the end. Yeah. I mean, Black is really gonna need a Christmas miracle to pull it off, and I don't know what White is doing. Allowing Black to even promote to a queen. But gives me the impression that White is trolling a little bit, simply annoyed that Black is not resigning, which I understand can be annoying at times. But it's better to end the game as quick as possible in general. That way, that's also a form of sportsmanship, in a way. Yeah, so something like Queen F7. And Queen G6 checkmate. Okay. Black resigns, and now all the games in the 3rd round are finished, and we are headed to the final. Where, how many people have 3 out of 3 points? Okay, me versus checkmate in 40. We both have 3 points. And the winner of this match will win the tournament. And the loser of the match will not. If we both draw, we both guarantee some sort of prize. But people with 2.5 out of 3 can catch up as well. So, very interesting situation. It's like a Game 7 NBA Finals. White, time to win time, right? Go time. My favorite thing about this position is that it's sharp. Both sides can go both ways, and it's just about how either side plays the middle game. The idea of knight g6 is obviously knight f4 is on the horizon, but really just to prevent e5. Okay, white plays g3, which is sort of surprising. Not a very common move in this type of position, but certainly understandable. Let's go this route, castle. Knight f3 makes a lot of sense for white. Probably a good option. I think after knight f3, black can play e5. I think I can play e5, and I think I will play e5. And the fact that you played b3, now I'm even more inclined to play e5, right? Because this is not a weakness. This is now my pieces are getting opened up. It's great for me. And I can try to formulate some sort of attack. That's the advantage of keeping this bishop here on d7, right? In the opening, I had an opportunity to trade off this bishop. If we go back, I could play bishop takes c6, and white will play bishop takes c6, b takes c6, and then it could have been a similar thing without this bishop. But this bishop really gives opportunities for black to achieve counterplay. And that's why I like to keep it, right, with b takes c6 instead of bishop takes c6 early on in the opening. I think now rook e8 coming next, right? He goes knight f3, I go rook e8. And yeah, it's just a very, very solid position, very nice position. Okay, that is a little bit strange and risky as well. Okay, I think e4 makes a lot of sense. Perhaps even f5. Or rook c1. Rook c8, let's go rook c8. I like that move. Keeps everything intact, prevents c takes d5, just develops the rook. Now white is probably going to play bishop b2. And then I can consider moves like bishop e5 or knight e5. Or queen g5. Right, once the bishop's out of that diagonal, queen g5 makes a lot of sense. Now knight f4 is an idea, bishop g4 is an idea. I think it's easy to forget that bishop g4 is an idea, but I have to remember that because it is a very useful idea. Let's go bishop h3. Bishop e5. I think knight belongs on e5. Gotta get it there. It's just a very, very good position for me right now. It's a good position to be in. White has, right now, I don't see any prospects for white in terms of getting counterplay because black is too fast when it comes to his attack. But again, I have to obviously be careful as well, right? Not to overestimate my position. I think another interesting thing to keep in mind is that an attack doesn't always have to end up with a checkmate. It's sort of common that we have this impression that attacks equals checkmate, but for the most part, attacks don't end up resulting in checkmates. Ooh, let's go knight g5, knight g4. I love that move. Look at that. Queen takes g5, knight takes f2 is mate. Queen e2. Now we have queen f6 or queen h6. Both look fantastic. Let me think. Yeah, I think both of them wins. So I'm just gonna go queen h6. Knight h2 is a threat. Right, knight h2 is the immediate threat. If white goes something like f3, which is likely, yeah, I'll just take and then go rook e8. And there's no square for white's queen that can protect the f2 square. Queen d3, knight f2 is checkmate. And knight f2 is coming, no matter what. Knight f2. Knight f2. You can almost pre-move it. Yeah, it's a tough situation. This is what I mean really when attacks don't have to end up with checkmates. Okay, now that is interesting. Don't know how really effective that is, but we can see. Let's go queen d3. Taking advantage of the same motif. If queen takes d3, knight f2 is checkmate. And now I'm attacking the knight, the queen, rook is coming. Yeah, there's really nothing white can do here, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. While we're waiting for my opponent here, let us check the status of some other games that are going on. Let's check Tiger Daddy versus Zach HKL. What is going on here? Okay, this game is definitely interesting. Okay, before that, my opponent has moved. So let us move as well. Okay, let's just take there. I guess we can take on c4, right? No reason why not. Let's go rook e3. Yeah, I'm just gonna go into an endgame. Pretty good endgame. Okay, yeah. Now let's just take care of the rest of the game. Black is up 2 pieces for no pawns, so it should be a fairly easy conversion. Now, I want to talk about another issue which has annoyed me for a little while, which is some people get annoyed when their opponent doesn't resign, especially in situations like this, right, where it's clearly hopeless. But my idea is that your opponent does not owe you anything. They do not owe you the courtesy to resign. If they do, that's great. They're giving you the courtesy that, okay, I know that you can win this game, but they don't have to do that, and they have a right not to. And I think it's just not right to blame your opponent for forcing you to win a game, right? If you think your opponent should resign, that means you should win the game. And you have to be able to prove that you can win the game. Yeah, so that's just my little rant and my little opinion about people not resigning. I think, yeah, my point is that your opponent doesn't owe you anything. They don't owe you the courtesy to not resign. You gotta prove it. Right? And you have to prove that constantly. Okay, now there's 2 more games left in the match. So let us go through them and see what happens. Now, this is a very, very interesting and complex position. I don't think black is in that much danger. Looks like their pieces have everything handled. Black's pieces are extremely, extraordinarily well placed. But again, his king is on h6, so it's not easy to evaluate what is going on here. Okay, we can start by thinking what happens after e3. Let's see what black does. This is interesting. White has the time advantage going for him, and I think it's key in this sort of position where things look to be fairly unclear. Having the time advantage to your side is huge. Wait, what? Now what happens after e3? Rook f3? Yep, that was quite strange. Rook f8. No, but then queen h4 is perpetual check. So you can't do that. You have to be fairly concrete here. That doesn't get you anywhere, though. That's the problem. What do you do here? If you're black, if you're trying to win, is there any win? Perhaps, maybe there isn't. But it's making me look at. Okay, King G1 was played. Ooh, this is interesting. I don't even know, man. Rook F8? It seems like a good time for Rook F8. No. What am I thinking? Rook F8. Rook on H3 is hanging. What do you do? Okay. I mean, sure, I guess, but that does not look very convincing. I'm sure it's a good move, though. I think it's probably the best move because I can't really see any other move. But I'm not really sure how Black plans to proceed from here. The question, though, that is interesting is what should White do here? Right? Because maybe Black is looking at it from the perspective of my opponent doesn't have any useful moves. A4? That's not useful, though. That tells me that I have more time than I think I do. If I were White, I would just play a move like A4 because I think here it comes down to time. It really does. More time at the end wins. Let me see if there's any other game. I feel like it's sort of getting the position is sort of getting saturated. Okay, so again I clicked into one game and the game ends immediately. Cool. That's amazing. Now we have to go back to that position which we so much appreciate. The complexity, but yet it's almost incredible how complex this position is. Maybe Black can go b5, b4. Okay, knight e2 is definitely not the way to go. I am sure of that. I don't see why it's necessary to allow queen takes c2 or any moves similar along those lines. So something like, okay, you can't go queen takes c2 immediately. But you can go bishop takes h2 and then queen takes c2. Yeah, that's a smart idea. Yeah, queen takes c2 immediately would lead to queen takes d6, queen takes e2, queen f4. That might have not been... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Oh my gosh. Holy moly. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's a fatal, fatal, fatal blunder. I did not even see that. I don't know how. But that is a fatal, fatal mistake. Now white is easily winning in all the ways you can imagine. Oh my goodness. See, this is what I'm talking about when I say manage your time. But honestly, I can't blame black too much because the position was so complex. It takes a minute to even wrap your head around what was going on. We have queen takes e3 here. Check. Rook g5, king takes h2 is winning. King g7, queen c3 is winning. Or king g7, rook f7 is winning. Rook f7, king h8, queen e8. Incredible. Wow, that was actually an exciting game. One of the better games that I've seen in a while. Okay, so the tournament is over. Congratulations to myself, Checkmate in 40, Daniel Best, and I think there's some other people who also have